Hello everyone and welcome back to a new Sprocket episode. So today we are finally doing the YT6, which is our first interwar tank. After the First World War showdown we had last time, we discovered, I decided that YT2 was the best World War I tank that I designed. But today I am building the YT6, which is an interwar light tank. The YT6 for design was inspired by probably the YT5. I took the same idea that I used for the YT5. The design and mostly the size. But I thought, okay, I will do something similar to the YT5 as design, but I will make it more modern in some way. And the final result was quite nice. But anyways, you see that I made the shape of the chassis of the tank very simple. It was very simple. I think it was nice. It was kind of inspired by the Swedish tanks of the Second World War. There are many of them, but the idea was behind that was inspired by the Swedish tanks and also by the design of the YT5. But anyways, I made the tracks as simple as possible. They didn't have to be wide, since this was an interwar tank. The most challenging part was actually the turret. I wanted to do a turret that was looking nice, but also that would fit perfectly the tank design. And I think it's just me, but I feel like the turret was too big, maybe too long, not too big, too long. But I tried to make a turret that was not perfectly symmetrical, like in most Swedish tanks, and I think that it was well done. Also, I made, as you can see in the video, I tried to make the front in a sort of weird shape that could protect the mantlet from the sides, and then, of course, the turret had to be big enough to fit the crew members. And the cannon, I don't think that the cannon had to be extremely powerful. That's why I tried to make a simple gun, a simple cannon that could do the job nicely. And then, of course, after making the gun, I started decorating the tank. I decided to decorate mostly the back part, because the back part, the rear of the tank, had a lot of space to place decorations. Then, of course, I try to work on the front by simply making sure that the decorations would fit. And I think it was a simple design. It was very easy. It was a very simple design. The tank was very small, so there was not much to do. That's why maybe this video is shorter than other videos I made. But the final result was nice. It was not the best tank I ever made. I think that I made better design in the past. But I think that the tank itself, the design really showed that this tank was from the interwar period, maybe more of a early war design. I may suggest by the design, like the idea behind it. But I think I did a quite nice job with designing the tank, mostly the turret, even though I think that the turret was too much long for the tank. But maybe it's just me, maybe it's just because the size of the chassis had to be a bit larger, I don't know. But the most annoying part, as I always say, is the rivets. Placing the rivets was not easy because you have to, when you put the rivets, you have to put them in place and thinking of how you put them. And I placed a lot of rivets because since this was an interwar tank, the more rivets I placed in a way that made sense, the more the tank was looking nice. Of course, I had to make sure that the sizes of the chassis and the turret were enough for the crew members, the ammunition, so I had to make some changes. And of course, for the livery, I used some simple greenish livery, and I used my usual decals. For the armor, I didn't want to do a tank that was too much. I didn't want to make a tank that was too much strong, speaking in the defense aspect. And since this is a light tank, it was more realistic to do a tank that had a little armor, because the weight of the tank is important, but also the more armor I place, the less space the crew had. So I had to balance armor and firepower. But I tested the tank and it wasn't that bad. I mean, yes, it's not the most powerful tank ever, since it's a tank that is it's a light tank and it has to do its job well, but not be too strong or too powerful. So I tried with the various tanks of the First World War. Of course, it doesn't really make sense of trying a tank of the interwar period with a World War I tank, because it has an advantage, and also it doesn't look realistic, even though, I mean, it did a good job, probably because the firepower is way better than firepower from the YT1 or YT3, for example. But it has its weaknesses. I mean, it's not a very fast tank, and also the traverse speed of the turret is not amazing. It's very slow, but I think that the tank was balanced. And of course, I have other ideas for next designs I want to make for the YT7, the YT8, but for now this is everything I had to mention about the YT6. Today's episode is very short because the YT6 is the tank making the transition between the First World War and the interwar period. So there's a sort of change of design. Of course, you can see there's a change of design, but also there is still some influence of the First World War in the design I made. But anyways, this is everything. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I hope that you like the video, so subscribe, share the videos with your friends and family members, and I will see you in the next episode of Sprocket. Bye.